Hey, what's up there? Welcome to Mahogany Sweets. Thank you for checking out the video. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Now, I know I'm late on this. I was trying earlier this week to knock out at least 3 videos a night so I could catch up with my commentary that I wanted to do, but didn't end up happening. So this is about the Jason Lee interview. He went over to the Breakfast Club to promote his book, which was like a memoir. So he was on the Breakfast Club, and the point that I want to bring up about that interview, which was around like the 24 to 26 minute mark, if you want to go and check it out yourself, was he has spoke about his molestation and sexual abuse in the book as he was a child, as well as some other things. So Charlemagne had asked him, which I think was a great question. I'm glad that he proposed the question, which was, does he think his sexual abuse by men as a child is what caused him to be gay? So Jason Lee stated that he did not know if that was the cause or the case because he has never unpacked it. He has never really processed it, thought it through, or gotten therapy concerning that part. So he stated all he do know is that when he was 7 years old, a man had in his home had, pulled out his genitalia and began to masturbate himself, not Jason Lee. Jason Lee stated that the man did not touch him. He did it like sitting across from him and was masturbating, and that was all the man did. So he said that he went to his mother, told his mother what the man did. He said his mother didn't believe him. He said he literally had to drag his mother down to the police station to make a report. And he said the police also really did not care. His mom only went to appease him, and police didn't care. So he said later on that year, I believe, while he was also 7 years old, a man did sexually touch him and abuse him. Now, I'm not sure if he stated it was that same man or if it was a different man. But he just said later on that year, he was abused physically, and he said that he was aroused, with the man touching him, it aroused him. However, but he said he don't think that was because he was gay. It was because, if anyone touch you in certain ways, in certain places, it is going to arouse you. And that's actually is true. One of the things that he didn't distinguish in that conversation, maybe he did in the book, but I ain't never think about getting the book. I ain't getting the book. I'm not going to read it, to be honest. But so he didn't say if what kind of touching it was, if it turned to intercourse or oral sex of any sort. He just said touching. So I'm just going to leave that alone with probably masturbating him off and having him touch his genitalia as well, things like that. So he said, and then from there, he just went on to, in his teenage years, about 14, he did attempt to be in a heterosexual relationship, but he just did not have the same attraction or chemistry with a woman as he felt for a guy, and that he was in a down low relationship with his best friend, his male best friend. And then he later just came out as gay. So this is what I want to state on this section of that interview and of the book is I personally think that it very much so is the reason why he is gay. I believe that a child, when they are introduced to sex, when they are molested, raped, whatever that person did and the way that they did it, the energy they had behind it, is what imprints on that child, and is what their interpretation and desire is going to be concerning sex, because that was their first interaction with it. It imprints on you, and that is what they're going to like, because that's all they know, and that's how sex was introduced to them. So since it was by a man at such a young age, that is what imprinted on him. That is what he's attracted to and likes sexually, which is why, although he tried to go on and have a heterosexual relationship, it was not fulfilling him. And that is why he was attracted to and sexually wanted, connected better with a male. The other problems, because there's a lot of other problems with that situation, the story that he gave, as far as his mother. It's a parent's job to protect their children at all costs from any and everything. If your child comes to you and states that someone is being inappropriate with them in any form or matter, it is your job as a parent to address that, and in that, make sure you do what you can to keep that from reoccurring. Trust and believe your child and show up for them. So the fact that she didn't do that was despicable. It was despicable to say the least. And I believe that that's also why when he talked about the second part of his sexual abuse, he did not go back to his mother or the police. He probably looked at that point, well, there's no point in me telling my mom didn't believe me. The police ain't going to do anything. I'm stuck. So I believe that's probably what made it possible for another predator or for that same predator to continue to prey on him. The other thing that I wanted to state is, what was the thing I wanted to state? Oh, so I believe that possibly the reason why he said that he did not know if this was the cause of him being gay, his homosexuality, is because he probably looked at it like the LGBTQ might be upset about that due to the fact that heterosexual people have already been stating that the majority of young gay men is because they were sexually abused by gay men as a child. And he probably looked at it as, I don't want to link that to that, because then that would invalidate the other people in my community who are saying that, no, I was just born this way, or who don't want to connect their homosexuality to their abuse that they suffered as a child. Or it could just be because he just hasn't, maybe he thinks it's a coincidence. Maybe you think it's a coincidence. But I firmly believe that that is the exact root and cause of where he's at today and where he grew to be. Because if he had been sexually abused by a woman, he would be interested in women at this point. He would just probably be probably which he is still now, over sexualized. Because when children are introduced to sex, which normally is always through abuse, and unless they make a mistake and walk in on parents having sex, or end up seeing something on TV, which is still somewhat different than actually being touched. So I mean, exposed that way into sex, it over sexualizes people. There are a couple of other different outcomes for sexually abused children, but the majority of them become over sexualized. And like I said, the majority of them are going to like and feel familiar with and comfortable with whatever way that sexual abuse showed up when they was a child from that first experience. That's what imprints on them. So if it was aggressive and overpowering energy, then that's what they're most likely going to like when it comes to their sexual relationships as they mature and progress in life. But what was about? Oh, I was about to tell y'all the other thing. See, it's late. I should have been did this video way earlier today, but was a little busy. Crap. See, that's why I need to start writing this stuff down. I can't be mad at nobody but myself. In other ways, if it doesn't over sexualize them, which is the usual sign, it causes them to be very reclusive. It causes them to be very much guarded and separate themselves, antisocial from other people, especially when it comes to things of a sexual nature, because they were so traumatized in that way due to that experience. And they will become distrustful of people, things like that, right? Why I'm about to try and break down all the different sides. But what I do want to tell you as parents, it is our jobs as parents to protect children at all costs. Pay attention to people who are constantly showering your kids with attention, trinkets, treats, gifts, presents. Because abuse 90% of the time happens from someone who is close. So family or close family friend, neighboring teachers, pastors as well, because those are coaches. Those are still also people who have already created a bond and a relationship of trust and mentorship with your child. And it makes it easier for them to be able to abuse your child. So always just keep an eye out for that. Not saying anyone who shows your child attention or want to invest in them means that they are out to get your child. No, but I'm just saying pay attention to those key things. And also pay attention to how your child is responding when certain people are around. How do your child act when your child come back from certain things or places? Has your child personality, character change? Have they became more enclosed to themselves to where they're not really interacting with other people? Have they became violent, very angry, lash out a lot over small, simple things? These are all telltale signs that your child is dealing with someone abusing them. And your child is not going to come straight to you and tell you that. Whether they're 4 years old or whether they are 12 years old. Because the thing with abuse, especially when it's happening with someone who has already built up trust and a relationship and love and affection there, is because they're going to feel guilty, shame, like it's their fault. They're going to be fearful for what happened to the other person, fearful for what happened to them, how this will change and affect their lives and their loved one lives. Like, for example, if let's say it's the mother and she has a new man, they will be fearful to come to that mother because they're going to feel like this is going to make her mad, this is going to make her sad, this is going to make her angry. Mommy's going to get rid of me, So you have to be mindful of that. So it's your job to go the extra mile. Constantly talk to your children. Ask them questions. Let them know that they're in a safe environment, that you are here to protect them at all costs against any and everyone who may try to hurt them. That they can trust you. Your children need to know that they can trust you, which that was one of the things that his mom failed him at. He was supposed to be able to trust her. And she taught him right then at that age of 7, I can't trust you. I can't depend on you. I'm quite sure to this day he has some resentments towards her. I'm quite sure. Because that was one of the things that he's mentioned in an interview. He stated, he was like, she was abused herself. And I believe he said it was by her father. He was like, so I don't understand why she didn't believe me. That could have been a denial factor. You have two things.